Okay, ladies, if anyone out there is like me when I was a kid, growing up in the age of sex sells and when adult media was just becoming freely available on the internet, it really cemented this idea in my brain that sex is primarily a performance women put on that is structured around impressing and pleasuring men. No one ever explicitly voiced this notion to me, but neither did anyone tell me otherwise, so it took hold nonetheless. And as a result, many of my sexual experiences have essentially centered around being the best. Because if sex is a performance, then that also means I must constantly be competing with other contestants, whether in real life or on screens. It really cheapened the experience because I never prioritized my own enjoyment or satisfaction. And I definitely wasn't prioritizing closeness or presence because I was so in my head all the time, wondering if I was doing this or that right, and if it's as good as it was last week or whatever. So when early motherhood came along, like the freight train that it is, making my world suddenly revolve around this new tiny person I literally have to keep alive, things shifted. A lot. Schedules, hormones, sleep, all of it. It's hard, it's overwhelming, and it's exhausting. And the last thing on your mind at the end of the day is putting on a performance. You're like, I have maybe a few hours. Just let me lay here with my eyes closed, please. And if you go on to have another or several, this feeling of overwhelm can build up for years on top of the rest of everything life throws at us. But what if I told you he's not asking you to wake up and put on a fancy, elaborate show for him, and that you're balking against an expectation which doesn't exist? What if he's really just asking to be close, to share that little opportunity of quiet, to remember why you two are a family together in the first place? And you can do that with literally zero effort, my friends. Let me tell you how. First, I would already guarantee you by this point, he's fully committed to putting in the work. No man has ever thought the thought, oh, well, if she's not getting on top, then I don't even want sex anymore. There's still plenty of ways you can position yourself where your only job is to lay back and enjoy. And your enjoyment is literally the greatest gift you can offer him. So once we've gotten this far to the act itself, how do we rock his world while still enjoying ourselves and not falling into performance mode? First, use your hands if the position you're in allows for it. Easy peasy. Just hold him, rub his shoulders, his arms, his hair, whatever. But that simple touch that says, I'm here with you, is what elevates it from chore to connection. Next, don't be shy about getting a bit vocal when things feel good. I don't mean anything obscene if you have kids or neighbors to think about, but there's a massive spectrum between dead silence and a possible noise complaint. And he'll pay attention to your cues if you give them, whether it's through the sounds you make or simple phrases like, that feels really good, or do that again. He wants to know what you want, and he wants to give you those things. And finally, Kegels. Those are good for us moms to be doing anyway, and they send the message loud and clear that you're not mentally checked out of the experience without you having to move an inch. So these are some super easy ways to engage in intimacy without adding to your workload and signal to your husband that you are still seeking connection with him, even though you may be in a difficult season. Because when we get out of our own heads and give ourselves permission to simply enjoy sex as a gesture of connection for its own sake, just like any other forms of touch, we can finally let go of the performance and simply bask in the warmth and the closeness of the man you love. So I hope you find this encouraging, that you can relax in your marriage bed, that it should be as much of a reprieve from the world for you as it is for him. And until next time, my friends, take care.